What's going on, adventurers? It's Ave Mortem, also known as Ad Victorium, the scourge of the sturgeon, Aeternum's most beloved invasioneer and reviled influencer. Today, we're going to talk about the New World Aeternum beta that just wrapped up. We're now officially counting down the days until the October 15th launch of New World Aeternum, so let's get right into it and see what's new and what we can actually expect. Big change number one is the introduction of archetypes. Now, this won't necessarily change your endgame experience, but it's a definite game changer for your early playthrough. It's like a 1000% improvement for starting out. Choosing an archetype, you'll get a synergized set of gear right away and a boost in a gathering, refining, and crafting trade skill. It makes it way easier to get your new character up and running with equipment you can use together instead of whatever you happen to come across on the beach. Once you've picked your archetype, the game literally forces you to swim to shore. Yes, true adventurers, swimming is now a thing in New World Aeternum. I have a feeling that the devs did this specifically on purpose, kind of rub it into all the people who flooded and spammed the original forums about swimming for ages. But hey, it's here now, so you all can stop complaining finally. And guess what? All those complaints about the devs not listening, clearly, as this shows, they do listen. Speaking of the early game, anyone who played at the original launch or during Fresh Start 2022 knows that the beach was a major choke point. On the US East Beta 1, we did hit a weird issue on launch where no one could move right at the start. Not sure what caused it, but it was fixed super quickly, and I'm talking about under 5 minutes. And after that, the entire experience was smooth sailing. Seriously. The performance from then on, whether it be the beach, the road, in town, outside of town, over where everybody sets up the tent for the you must create a camp mission, okay? I'm talking about 6 straight hours of play using the 12X, the Direct 12X Alpha. The entire time was crisp and clean with no problems and no performance issues. So whatever changes they did with the sharding and the server tech really looks like it worked. Movement has been tweaked a little bit, specifically jumping. Jumping now feels different, but it's in a good way. It actually feels like you're jumping. You get more hang time, more air. Seems that you can grab and 2-hand pull up areas easier. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this improved movement opens up more jumping puzzles in future content. One of the things that the devs had mentioned was the change from a text screen for dialogue to a more narrated and animated conversational camera mode. Now, I'll be honest. As someone who has gone through the character creation process around 4 or 5 times, I honestly did not think this change would mean anything. I thought it was a big nothing burger. But it turns out that this is probably low-key one of the most significant changes to the game. And in all honesty, it gives New World Narrative a new perspective and brings the story to life as opposed to a bunch of text for us to read. I honestly feel that this change is key to the future of the game. All right, so let's talk about the big elephant in the room, and that is crafting. Because the beta was limited to level 30, there's still some big question marks around crafting, and that's specifically crafting gear score 725 items, whether it be with or without raid resources. Right now, it doesn't seem possible unless you have the contents or the resources from the raid. This could shake up the economy in two ways. Either it's going to make crafting resources way less valuable because there's going to be a lot less crafting happening because people aren't going to necessarily want to craft sub 725, sub top gear score level gear if you're only able to craft 700 gear. Or it's going to make, and I'm not sure if this is true, I heard the Gorgon eyes are actually tradable, going to make those items extremely expensive, and it's going to make any 725 gear score gear sell for extremely high prices. Or at least that's what the sellers are going to want. The problem, of course, is going to be that people aren't going to have the gold because the resources will be selling for much less. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the economy shakes out under the New World Aeternum model, especially with crafting. Some other crafting changes to note is that there are going to be some resources that are going to be deprecated and removed from recipes. Some resources like Tovium and Barbed Vine are just completely removed from the game. Now to make Asmodeum, you only need Cinnabar. Gem fusion and gem cutting has been moved away from stone cutting and into jewelry crafting at the Outfitter Station. Now you may be thinking, my god, the Outfitter Station menu was horrendous to begin with, but actually, believe it or not, it's now shorter because your ring, earring, and amulet that you craft are just 3 items, and then you slot the gem individually like you would any other gear. It's no longer a ring for every gem at every level. So this is a vast improvement, honestly, to both jewelry crafting, because now jewelry crafting leveling becomes a bit easier. Although it will probably make stone cutting a little more tedious. For all the PvP fans out there, let's talk about the new free-for-all zone. I'll be honest, I spent about 2 hours exploring it, dodging all the PvE mobs, found some cool stuff like a ghost ship that appears and starts bombing an area. It looks like the southern shore of the zone is mount restricted, similar to an elite area. Up north, near Pierre Bridge in the Citadel, you are able to ride your mounts, or at least I was able to ride my mount. There are some new PvE enemies, but it's obvious that the real threat here is going to be from other players. All items in the zone are cursed, meaning they drop on death. So yeah, the potential for griefing is through the roof. For all those that want to still complain about the lack of a new Outpost Rush map, I've got to say, with a zone this big and backed with variety, it feels like PvPers really have enough to work with here. The zone literally is probably around the same size as current Cutlass Keys, which, by the way, all of Cutlass Keys has been leveled up to 60-65. So good luck getting that iron. Alright guys, if you've made it this far, I just want to say thank you so much for sticking with me. Don't forget that like button and subscribe if you want to get notified when I drop more New World content. To sum things up, the New World Aeternum beta really delivered on a lot of what players have been asking for years. We have controller support coming to the game. That's going to make it available on gaming consoles, both Xbox and PlayStation. We're going to have the repeatable soul trials. The leveling experience once again has been improved. There's now a 30-day cooldown on swapping factions instead of the current 60 days. And of course, we're going to be getting the raid, which no one has played yet, but from what we've seen, we have high hopes. Now's the part where I turn around and I'll be honest, I get a little forecasty and predicty, right? Considering how much grief AGS and the devs got after that June announcement, it feels like a lot of this stuff that's coming, like, we don't even deserve. But looking ahead to October 15th, here's what I think is going to happen. The current Fresh Start worlds will likely get deprecated and move to a legacy style server, allowing transfers in and out. With the launch of Aeternum, we're going to see a massive population spike on the new Fresh Start servers, especially with PC and console gamers. I do not see a lot of console players going to legacy servers. By December or January, I expect to see the first server merges for the console-specific servers. Those are the servers where only Xbox players play with Xbox players and PlayStation players play with PlayStation players. Because I think those servers, the population is likely to dwindle first. And I also wouldn't be surprised if by mid next year, we're down to just 2 legacy servers. One for the Americas and one for EU. So guys, that's my take on the beta and where I see the future of New World Aeternum heading. But I want to hear from you. What do you guys think? What are your predictions? Drop a comment below and let's discuss it. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in Aeternum on October 15th. Good luck, have fun, kill 'em all.